What's up, everybody? My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Umineko When They Cry Answers Arc. Last episode, we did the tea parties for episode 6, and we have unlocked episode 7, Requiem of the Golden Witch. Which, yes! I think that means, well, I guess as far as progression, we're halfway through the game, but it's possible that these episodes are considerably longer than 5 and 6, which were already on the longer end. I think 4 was the longest so far, right? I remember it feeling really long, like it took 20 episodes to get through or something. And the others I had done by episode 50, I think, on Questions Arc. Meanwhile, this is episode 37, so yeah, I think I got to chapter 3 in episode like 32 last time. So getting to 7 in episode 37 is definitely further. So yeah, it is time to jump into episode 7, but before I jump into it, a comment I was told last time says that I should be thinking a bit more about the letter bottles and who actually wrote them. I'd assume Hachijo did, honestly. Unless Hachijo is supposed to be somebody else. Well, obviously she's Featherin, who is possibly, like, Hanyu in some way. Like, maybe in Higurashi, Hanyu was Featherin's piece. There does seem to be some connection between Featherin and Burncastle anyways. And wonder who Burncastle looks like. So, yeah, the whole Higurashi connection is still confusing to me. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure Higurashi was probably Burncastle's hell that was mentioned, but I'm not sure what Lambda Deltas would be, unless Higurashi was both of their hells, in which case I don't know how Lambda Delta would play in. If she, at this point I don't even know if she's supposed to represent Satoko. I was told she represents, Takano, which I suppose is possible. She's the only other blonde female character in the game of note. I don't think she'd represent Mion, Shion, or Rena. That wouldn't make much sense. Or, God forbid, the teacher, Keiichi's mom. That wouldn't make sense either. So, yeah, I need to think more about the letter bottles and why Erica is included in them if the whole family died and none of them know about Erica's incident. And, of course, frickin' Zeepar and Furfur, why there's characters with such confusing genders. Thing is, I don't know who could have written them if it wasn't Hachijo. I mean, Eva, like, assuming that the timeline that we had with Angie, Amakusa, and Hachijo was the same as in Chapter 3, just at an earlier time, Eva was alive at some point, so off the island after the incident, so it's possible that she wrote them, since she technically inherited the title of Beatrice. Maybe she, I don't know, somehow gained the memories of that wouldn't make any sense, though. I'm trying to think of it rooted in reality, but it's like the bomb killed everyone other than Eva, unless it's possible that Shannon Cannon Beatrice person died, or it didn't die in that, which I don't think is possible. But whatever, I'll be sure to pay attention to it as we go through this episode. And apparently this episode, as I've mentioned before, is supposed to be the one that'll basically confirm or deny my theory of Shannon Cannon Beatrice culprit. So yeah, let's just jump into it then. Again, I'm wondering if there's gonna be more new characters. I'd imagine there might be. Obvious disclaimer, the story is fictional. Yeah. At this point, I'd assume so, you know? Even if you didn't say it, I'd assume so. Alright. Earth to earth. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Illusions to illusions, and dreams to dreams. Okay. Heck's that mean? A dream is something drawn in the sand between the coming and receding waves. Something so fragile that it's wiped blank every time a wave comes in. So, The heartless might sneer, saying that drawing such things is useless and meaningless. I didn't know the heartless could talk. Well, I guess Ansem can. However, no wave will ever come again to wipe away the dream she drew. And now, that final, beautiful dream of hers will not disappear for all eternity. So who is she? This is the chapel, I believe. Come, try and picture it. It's as though the rays of the gentle afternoon sun on a warm spring day simply forgot to grow dim ever again. It truly is such a wonderful thing. Witness to your final dream. Publius Virgilia Maro. Is that how you pronounce it? Publius? So is this Virgilia talking? Is that her whole name? Where is this? There's like freaking mesh walls. And a lot of chairs facing each other. The suspects were gathered in a room, and several Inquisitors of Heresy were reporting on the results of their investigation. Oh. Their uniforms closely resembled those of Eizerne Jungfrau. I still don't know if that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. But they were slightly different. Also different were the badges signifying their department. The music's already kicking in. Then came the sound of someone clapping their hands once. It was the lead female Inquisitor. She was announcing that all reasoning had been completed. The way they're talking, it's not Dlanner. Is it Gertrude? As has been shown, it is all quite clear. Know that the preceding logic has proven the non-existence of your alibi. At the other end of her pointing finger was a quivering maid with frightened eyes. Her name was... No, that's not important. I'm sure it's probably important. What matters now is that she could have entered the closed room study where the victim was found whenever she pleased. And furthermore, that her claimed alibi for the time of the crime has been proven to contradict the facts. Shaking, the maid tried to continue in her illogical pleading, but all of her statements had already been seen through. With this, we conclude our proof of the whodunit and the howdunit. I'm gonna assume this is probably just a new character. If it's anyone we already know, like, I mean, I guess it could be Erica, but she kinda died. Unless this is at a different point in time. Plus the way that they're talking, it's not Erica. Whatever, I'll just keep the Gertrude voice for now. Know that your position as the culprit is now an unshakable fact. Something tells me this maid might be Shannon. It's possible that it's not, I guess. Maybe it's Lunan, finally. After all this time, we're gonna see who the hell Lunan is.
You must be joking! Why would I kill the master I loved and respected so? I have no motive, no reason!
Who did it and how? Know that establishing these is more than sufficient. Please, allow me to speak. Know that motives are unnecessary and mysteries. The Inquisitor spoke coldly. Then we skip to a different scene, and you're gonna be confused about this until like 3/4 of the way through the chapter. Really now? Are you actually? After finishing her witch's prayer, Virgilia stepped back from the coffin, which lay on an altar bedecked with many beautiful roses. Bedecked? Bedecked? In her place, Battler moved to the front of the coffin, wearing his Territory Lord's cape. Though the cape was supposed to represent dignity and majesty, it somehow made Battler look smaller. Battler held a book with a majestic binding in his hand. Ah, that book. It was a game record that had just been written, or perhaps it was a tale, a game, or else a fragment. Written in it was the dream that would be more enjoyable for her than any other. Battler pressed it against his forehead and contemplated for some time. Then, he kissed it, and laid it gently in the coffin. It rested upon her chest. She looked like a little girl, clutching her favorite stuffed animal as she drifted off to sleep. This is the sole tale I have to offer up to you. This tale will be shut up with you in your coffin for all eternity. So did Beatrice actually die? No, wait, it's a coffin. I know that they said in towards the end of the last chapter, if Beatrice uses that move, it'll reveal her heart and kill her or something like that. But Erica died. We didn't see Beatrice die. So no one will be able to read it except for you, there in your coffin. So was it Erica or Beatrice in the coffin?
Shut away in that cat box. The only, unchanging, inviolable, eternal tale.
This way, no one will be able to defile it. No one can deny it, and no one can argue against it. This is just between me and her. Just the two of us. Our one and only certain truth. Yep, it's Beatrice then. Oh, what? Okay, what the fuck? Those bastards. A man dashed through a town wrapped in twilight. Where is this? The daytime hustle and bustle of this beautiful village, which combined the traditional with the orderly, in the classic style of the last century, now seemed like a mere dream. The orange setting sun was already hidden behind the clock tower, and the narrow alleyway was rapidly descending into darkness. As the gas lights began to turn on, they only made the darkness of the twilight stand out all the more. The man sprinted. There was no time. He had to hurry. He'd had several experiments to do and things he had to check, and it had all taken longer than he'd expected. Yes, there's no mistake there. The whodunit and howdunit are more than enough in the mystery genre. In the mystery genre, the motive, or the why-done-it, is given the lowest priority. Not sure why I'm coughing all of a sudden. To have a murder, you need to have a culprit, and he needs to commit a crime. Motive isn't required for that, so it's usually the most ignored element. In fact, these days, there are even some who call it unnecessary. If you find the culprit with nothing but the why-done-it, that's no mystery. That's propaganda. However, just because of that fact, it doesn't mean you can neglect the motive, the heart. Okay, I got a fucking pop-up.
We both know how much fun she'll be having in her final sleep, so I doubt anyone could disturb it. After all, who could possibly disturb a sleeping child smiling at a happy dream? Come. It is time for us to leave. If we're too noisy, we'll wake her from her dream.
You're right. What else should you do with a sleeping kid, except put a blanket on them, turn off the lights, and walk away quietly? After looking at the coffin one last time, Virgilia turned around quietly. Battler did the same, but then he stopped and turned to face the rose-covered altar. Battler offered up his final words within his heart. As long as those words didn't leave his mouth, no one would be able to know what they were. However, those words of the heart caused Battler's expression to change several times. At first, he frowned sadly. Then, his face clouded with remorse, and then changed to a bitter, exasperated smile. It flashed through several varied expressions. Then, the final expression that crossed his face was, surprisingly, a gentle smile. Something rose to Battler's lips. However, he bit it back down. There could certainly be no words to describe the many feelings he kept in his chest. So, saying anything aloud would probably be crude. Battler understood this, and stopped himself from speaking once more with a wry smile. Thank you.
Oh, I have done nothing to deserve your gratitude.
I'll leave the rest to you. After seeing Virgilia nod back at him, Battler turned away from the altar one more time, and left the chapel. Virgilia also disappeared, and with that, all disturbances that might have interrupted her blissful sleep had vanished. And then the music kicks back up again! What is going on? The Inquisitors of Heresy listened with calm, no, scornful gazes. They listened to the frantic babbling of the maid accused of murdering her master. However, nothing she said could bury the fault in her own alibi. They were all mere emotional arguments. I loved and respected the Master so much, I had no motive for killing him. No matter how much she spoke, it only made her look more and more like the floundering true culprit struggling pathetically. The requirements for the whodunit and howdunit had been satisfied. And for the whydunit, the motive, the heart. No matter how much she spoke of gratitude for her master, who had graciously given her a job when she'd been left by the wayside after various misfortunes, it didn't help her case in the slightest in the mystery genre. Therefore, her motive didn't matter. All of that could just be squeezed out of the culprit afterwards. An Inquisitor of Heresy took out a roll of parchment and held it forth, cutting off the maid's sobs and protests.
This is how you committed the crime. Know that this indictment has been received by the Great Court, and that your arrest has been approved. Here is the warrant for your arrest. Motive is unnecessary. Know that such a thing is completely extraneous to the matter of pinpointing the culprit. Please allow me to speak. Know that we of the SSVD possess methods of forcing unrepentant criminals to reveal the truth. With these interrogation tools blessed by the powers of justice, we Inquisitors of Heresy will strap up your limbs, burn you, crush you, stretch you, and hang you. And in doing so, bring the red truth out of you. It isn't even necessary for you to confess. Aides, arrest that maid!
It wasn't me! I didn't kill the master! No! No!
Now who are you? Okay. Okay, I got really no feel for you so far. You have a random red strand of hair and a necklace that looks like an anchor. You kind of look like a captain in a way. In that case, I'm gonna give you, the Ryuji voice. For now, at least. Hold it right there. You've got the wrong culprit. A man kicked the door open, and the Inquisitors were all shocked at the sight of him.
Why are you here? Know that this case is no longer your responsibility.
Is this man a detective? Quiet. You find one person without an alibi and just assume that she's the culprit? Do you really think there's no need for a motive, for a heart, in crime? Crimes are committed by people. There are no crimes without a heart. I'll never accept a theory that neglects the heart.
Know that your obsession over the whodunit is simply embarrassing. The whodunit is unnecessary. Such a thing can be extracted easily through interrogation. Even the Great Court has already acknowledged that this woman is the culprit.
True, the Great Court does assume that everyone besides the maid has an alibi, but that's just because they heard you say so, and they've mistaken your overconfidence and conceit for wisdom. If any one of the other suspects loses their alibi, your evidence so far proves nothing. Okay, we're gonna jump off this voice and be a little calmer now. Just look at how pathetic some of these other alibis are. Did the clock in the reception hall chime midnight at exactly the right time? Did the dog by the back door bark at everyone? So you managed to prove that the maid's alibi false. Wait, so you managed to prove the maid's alibi false. Congratulations. But does it end there? It may have been possible for her to do it, but does she have any motive at all? Are the alibis for the others absolutely perfect? This maid wasn't the only one with a false alibi. You have to keep on searching if you want to find the others. Was there some sort of grudge against the victim? Or some money-related problem? Don't abandon motive. Don't abandon the heart. Dry mysteries where the motive can just be figured out later aren't worth anyone's time.
If the maid isn't the culprit, then why did she fake an alibi? Even asking such a question is a waste of time. Know that we just have to interrogate her, bring out the red truth, and have her sign in red blood to everything that happened at the time of the crime.
Yeah, you probably can do that. You can just use that torture of yours to squeeze out everything frankly and objectively, as seen from the eyes of God. But you know what? I'll never accept mysteries and theories that lack heart.
I have already taken over responsibility for this case. I even have a decree right here. Come now, aides. Now that there is no reason to hesitate, I order you to arrest this maid.
When she gave this order, her subordinates hesitated, looking back and forth between their superior and that man. Oh wow. I won't let you. The real culprit's a different person. It's possible to use motive to find them, and their alibi trick is an old one. You can't neglect the heart.
There's no need for that. We just have to find the suspicious ones who could have committed the crime, interrogate them, and squeeze out the red truth. On the off chance that they aren't the culprits, then we just have to interrogate the next suspect. You call that reasoning? Stand back! We will arrest that woman. Know that this maid is the culprit. Oh, what the? It is forbidden for a servant to be the culprit. That's an interesting red truth. That's a super interesting red truth. Does this just refer to whatever the fuck this is going on here? Or does it refer to everything? Because, okay. Let's see if I can bullshit my way. Well, Beatrice isn't a servant. So if Beatrice, Shannon, and Cannon are the same person, then easy mode. Whenever anybody died, they switched to Beatrice. Shannon and Cannon are, like, accomplice personalities. There you go. Easy. What did you say? The words of power blasted away the aides trying to arrest the maid. Van Dyne's 20 rules. Rule 11. If you want to torture this maid, make sure you double-check the alibis for the second wife and her lover first. Those two already have a clear alibi for the time of the crime. That, an alibi? Damn it. A fool like you couldn't understand no matter how easy I make it for you. If you want to call yourself the head Inquisitor, try and figure out at least that much for yourself. Until then, I'll be taking that maid's arrest warrant. Then what about you? Can you prove that this maid didn't commit the crime? Know that she was clearly away from the kitchen at the time of the crime. What was she doing then and where? She can't prove it, I can't prove it, and you can't prove it. No one can. That's why we have no choice but to use these torture devices to interrogate her until the red truth is squeezed out. You can squeeze as much blood and truth from the true culprit as you damn well please. However, I won't let you interrogate or torture anyone who isn't that culprit. This is why everyone says you're too soft. All the suspicious must be interrogated. That is how we Inquisitors of Heresy conduct our witch trials. That's right, we are Inquisitors of Heresy. Wait, are you one too, man? Felling evil witches is our job. However, we mustn't risk hurting the innocent. We mustn't put them under suspicion. All humans have their own personal truths. Those should only be exposed when they commit crimes. We've been given the right to expose them. But there's one thing we can't do. What? No one, not even God, has the right to expose the innocent truths of those who have not sinned. The maid finally realized that he was trying to protect her.
I don't know who you are, but thank you very much. I'm really not the culprit.
Yeah, I know. Your boyfriend said he'd be willing to give up everything to prove your alibi. You should thank him. The kid said that honor and reputation are worth nothing compared to you.
But if he does that, he'll...
It won't come to that. Exposing the secrets between lovers is a job for third-rate magazines. That's not mystery. I'll never allow for heartless reasoning. Then, for the first time, the man's sullen expression relaxed, and he patted the maid's head roughly. I'm sure you two will be happy together. Still, meeting together in secret while on the job is hardly praiseworthy. Try to keep that to a minimum.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
These words were only heard by the two of them. The man had learned of her innocence, which could only be proven by exposing the secrets of a pair of young lovers, and he had rushed about in search of a solution, resentful of the arrogance of those trying to expose this by forcible means. The point of theory-making is not to create a culprit, or to trample the truths that lie in the hearts of those who have not sinned. If you want to play the detective, don't neglect the heart. Otherwise, we're just intellectual rapists. Okay, I was about to say, before that comment, I think this might be, like, a message from the author to the readers, saying, hey, make sure they have a motive, you dumb shit. Otherwise, you're just Erica. Don't forget it. When the man spoke, the Inquisitors no longer had any way to argue back. This man's name is Will. Okay, you're the third Will to get the Will voice, Will. And yet, that's not what everyone used to call him. Head Inquisitor of Heresy of the SSVD, the 8th District Repentance Enforcement Agency of the Great Court of Heaven.
Titles are not my forte. Where is this man? Where is this man? Where is this man? This man is gone. Wizard hunting Wright. Right now, okay. Jesus. Here he is. Oh, Willard. Okay, so not quite Will, but still Will. I guess I'm gonna get this voice now. A member of the SSVD, the 8th District Repentance Enforcement Agency of the Great Court of Heaven, an Inquisitor of Heresy and a first-class Archbishop. He is commonly known as Wright of the 20 Wedges, or Wizard Hunting Wright. He was an ace Inquisitor of Heresy in his youth, feared for being both ruthless and merciless in his work. However, at some point there was a change in his work attitude, and his previous flashy escapades became a thing of the past. His current style is often fickle, alternating between laziness and obsessive bursts of energy regarding mere trifles. By now, everyone has given up trying to understand him. He's already filed his resignation and had it accepted. Only a few days remain before he'll lose the name of Wright. Alright then. This is the last thing I have to pass on to you guys. If you want to be the next wizard hunting Wright, remember it. No matter what. Oh. An opening. Okay. Let's see, is this song gonna be as crazy as the last one? There's Battler and Virgilia standing in front of a coffin. I'm assuming it's Beatrice's, otherwise they'd just be like, eh, fuck you, Erica, go to hell. Song's a lot more somber. Hello, Battler. Oh, I see Beatrice in there. That's another new character. Who's that girl? Or guy? I can't even tell. They just have long blonde hair. Hello, everybody. What's up? Huh. Okay, the portraits. It's just kind of showing every character and some CGs. I don't know if this is meant to tell a story or if it's just like a standard opening. Oh well, Burncastle. That's imposing, I guess. Is she gonna be like the main antagonist now? Goes from Beatrice to Erica, so is it gonna be Burncastle this time? At least I only saw 2 new characters, and one was Will, so that's nice. Hopefully I won't have to think of too many new voices. Didn't catch if they were a guy or a girl, but all I saw was long blonde hair and a suit. So it could be either. It's Edward Elric, there we go. That's the mansion. That's the chapel. Quietly, quietly, the rain fell down. The rain of sadness dripped down the outer walls of the chapel, quietly washing away the dust of the world of the living. The chapel doors were open. During a wedding, only those with invitations are allowed inside. However, during a funeral, the doors are open to all who remember the deceased. So, this must be a funeral. A shadow holding an umbrella approached the chapel. It was Will. Achievement unlocked, a new visitor approaches. Okay. Oh, I've never seen this back. This must be the entrance of the chapel. Or at least facing the exit. Wait, facing the entrance of the chapel from the inside. I thought there was like a little staircase up to it. Huh. Okay then. A reception desk had been set up at the chapel's entrance. Oh, hi, Canon. As the shadow approached, Canon, who had been sitting at this desk, stood up and welcomed him with a bow. This is a reception desk. We are collecting the names of all mourners. If you would sign in here. Sorry, but I'm not a mourner. I'm here to meet with someone. No quotes there, I guess.
You came to a funeral to meet someone? A dubious expression rose to Cannon's face. I'm assuming that was supposed to be in quotes. Will pulled an envelope from his pocket and showed him the sender's name. My apologies. Please enter. Thanks. Could I at least have one of those? Thank you very much. I'm sure she will be pleased. Cannon handed him one of a set of golden roses, which were being handed out to all the mourners. Will took it, silently bowed his head, and entered the chapel. Are Battler and Virgilia still here? Inside the chapel, several people who appeared to be the family of the deceased were gathered, and they all seemed to be recalling memories of the departed.
Oh, Beatrice! Why? Why? Oh, even though I'm also dead.
Father, please take care. Why don't you rest in the waiting room for a bit?
I'm assuming this ain't reality. Oh. Okay, Rosa.
I killed her. I did it.
Absurd. How could that be, Rosa?
Father's really bawling.
Well, obviously this isn't fucking reality. Kinzo's here. Yeah, Beatrice, huh?
I'm sure he didn't cry this much when Mother passed away.
Hey, now's not the time to say things like that. Are we ever actually gonna meet the mother? Come to think of it, like, she's never had any appearance, even in the one flashback with Kid Eva and Kid Kraus, and Kinzo and Genji were there too, I think. Yet, there was no sign of Mrs. Ushiromiya. Some sobbed, unable to conceal their tears, and some spoke softly of old memories. They were all remembering the dead in their own way, it seemed. When Will approached the altar, several people turned around. Of course, none of them knew who Will was. Paying this no mind, Will walked in front of the casket on the altar, which seemed to be buried under gold roses. Inside the casket, there was no corpse. Instead, as though it lay there in a place of a body, was a single thick book with an extravagant binding. The space all around it was filled with countless golden roses. There were words printed on the book's cover. To my beloved Beatrice, October 5th, 1986.
2 days from October 3rd. Miss Beatrice. If it was Mrs., then forgive me. I've never met you. However, allow me to express my condolences.
He took the rose he had received from the reception area and placed it in the casket. He had absolutely no connection to the woman called Beatrice. However, since he had come to visit a funeral, he had to show this minimum amount of respect for the dead. As part of this, Will prayed for the passage of the dead into the next world. Pardon me, but who might you be? I am Ushiromiya Kraus. I'm serving as the chief mourner. This is my child. Lion? Oh. So are you a guy or girl? Your face is... I think you're a guy. You look like a guy. Lion. Is that meant to be pronounced lion, or is it meant to be pronounced Leon? Also, what the fuck? This is your child, Kraus. Okay, I guess it's just gender swap Jessica. Ushiromiya Lion. Or Leon. I don't know which one is supposed to be pronounced. The first child of Kraus and Natsuhi, Jessica is their second child. Now we're getting into really fuckhead territory. What is going on? He was given the silver ring of the successor to the headship, and will succeed the position of family head upon turning 20. Mild, polite, and without any clear faults, except for being too young, Lion is a more suitable successor than anyone else and is adored by Kinzo. Okay, this must just be an alternate timeline, I guess, where... An alternate timeline, with Natsuhi actually giving birth? Okay. Original images. Okay. Those boots are really cutting off your pants, man. Yeah, just kind of the same thing. Oops, I did not mean to right-click again. What's Will's look like? Oh, pfft. It looks a lot more stocky. But still kinda the same. Okay. I already read that, right? Yes. No one else is here, though, so that's interesting. So I guess I need to give him a voice now.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Ushiromiya Lion.
Lion? Who the heck are you?
It's written as that, but pronounced Leon.
Okay, so it is Leon. Alright.
I guess it is a bit strange for a Japanese name.
Or is it Leon? I'm just gonna say Leon. Will stared at Leon's face, wearing a confused expression. He hadn't seemed particularly interested in Kraus, but Leon had apparently drawn some sort of reaction from him. Rather than interest, it was more as though he felt like something was out of place.
Kraus, Madam says it is about time.
Ah, I see. Ladies and gentlemen, if we're too noisy in here, it may disturb the dead. I've been told that the waiting room has been readied. Okay, something else I want to say about this game. Oh, well, it's actually not going to show everybody's faces there. I forgot about that. Yeah, as far as everybody, like, and their kids, a lot of hair colors don't make sense, I'm gonna be honest. Like, Leon and Jessica, I guess, have the same, hair color. I don't know about eye color. And Krause's hair is, like, kind of dirty blonde golden-ish. But Natsuhi's is brown. Genetics dictate. Ding, nope. I mean, I guess if it's a recessive trait, that makes sense, but then Battler is red. And then Kyrie is silver. Rudolph is brown. But get the feeling there's probably some child swapping going around. Well, maybe, probably not. I see. Ladies and gentlemen, if we're too noisy in here, it may disturb the dead. I've been told that the waiting room has been readied. Shall we move over there? When Kraus called out to everyone, they began to move towards the chapel waiting room. My apologies. Leon, could you entertain our guest for now? I will guide the others to the waiting room.
Yes, Father.
It looked like a natural conversation with no awkwardness for either father or child.
Father and child, is it? Yes, but why do you ask?
Ushiromiya Krause's child is supposed to be Jessica.
Jessica's my little sister. Do you need me to call for her?
No, that won't be necessary. Apparently, some sort of game was already being played right off the bat. Scratching at his head with an irritated look on his face, Will glanced around.
Pardon me, but what sort of relation did you have with the deceased? None at all. It's a real pain.
What a pain.
Then why did you come to this funeral?
Since Leon was a fairly mild person, Will's behavior was met with nothing more than a blank expression. A normal person would probably have put on a dubious look long before this. Will scratched his head again and yelled angrily at someone other than Leon. I'm here. Isn't it about time you showed your face? The members of the Ushiromiya family had already followed Krause's instruction and moved to the waiting room. By now, no one could be seen in this cold, vast chapel decorated with gold roses except for Will and Leon. Hey, here's a third new character! So you've come, Wizard Hunting Wright, Inquisitor of Heresy. The girl's voice came suddenly from behind the pair. If it's a new character, I swear. Okay, good. Not new. When Leon turned around in surprise, a girl had appeared out of nowhere and drifted down on top of the altar. She landed I can't speak. She landed softly on the sacred funeral altar as though this was perfectly normal, crushing the golden roses under her shoes. Of course, Leon didn't know this girl. Just why on earth were all of these people unrelated to the funeral popping up one after another?
I'm already retired. If you have a job you need doing, go ask the new Wright. No, you're the one I want to ask. I'm giving this case to you. Did you read the tale I sent you?
I skimmed it.
I don't know who you are, but please get down from there. That's a sacred altar.
Snapping out of a daze, Leon told the girl to get down off the altar, but she ignored this completely. On top of that, Will kept on talking to the girl as though Leon wasn't even there. I hear this is Leon. Who is that exactly?
You've already heard who.
Ushiromiya, Leon. There's no case of a person with that name appearing in any of the previous games.
Is this your piece? No. It's a true and proper piece of this game board. A character appearing in the story.
Don't tell me that this is the fucking kid from 19 years ago.
You're the game master. That means it's your piece.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Burn is the game master now.
I've just moved from Beato's cat box into a larger cat box. Leon is one of the pieces who has a possibility of appearing inside it.
Just a possibility?
I see. In other words, it's your piece. It's a piece I've placed, would be the correct way to say it.
So you're saying this piece isn't your subordinate, like Erica?
Erica? Who's that? Erica?
Don't try to understand. You'll just get a headache. Leon didn't have a clue what they were talking about. However, though neither person was familiar, it seemed clear that they both knew a lot about the Ushiromiya family.
I don't know what you two are talking about. Anyway, you, girl, please get down off the altar. Ask this as a... I can't talk. What do you mean? Just like my father, I do not know how to read. I asked this as a successor to the Ushiromiya family headship. I almost fucked that up too.
Even Leon was finally forced to speak in a raised voice to that girl, who continued to chat while casually standing on the altar. However, the girl ignored this completely. On the other hand, Will did show a reaction. The successor is supposed to be Kraus.
My father, Kraus, will be the acting head until I turn 20. Then I am to succeed the headship.
First I've heard of this. Can you prove it? The ring? It seemed that even Leon was starting to get ticked off by now. That calm expression appeared to twitch slightly. Oh, don't tell me this young man is also fucking crazy. We haven't had, like, any super ridiculously crazy male characters in this game yet. Like, as far as female characters we've had, let's go down the list. Burncastle, Lambda Delta, Beatrice. In some case, Jessica. Certainly Eva. Rosa for sure. Maria, definitely. Erica, yup. Kumasawa in a different way, but I'm not including her, so we're back down to 9. All of the stakes of Purgatory, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that brings us to, I think, 16 now, because that's how math works. Virgilia, not really. Like, she has crazy eyes, but that's it. She's just she's pretty sane. Same with Gap. And Delanner. Yeah, Delanner. Am I missing anybody? Probably. But 17. 17 at least. Crazy-ass chicks. And Featherin probably too. So, maybe 18. We could have another fucking Rokonjima killing game with that many people. And as for guys, the craziest one's probably George, I guess. No, he counts, I guess. George is not the most sane person, or at least he's just super determined to the point where he's willing to do basically anything, which I guess is insane, but whatever.
This is the successor silver ring of the one-winged eagle. Is that proof enough for you? The silver ring? The Golden Head's ring has appeared several times, but I've never heard anything about a silver ring for the successor. I don't remember Kraus or Jessica ever wearing one of those. I'm glad. For someone who's just skimmed it, it seems you've read it pretty well. When a witch hands you a story, you never know when something absurd will pop up. Especially when it's a great witch from the Senate. What? Who in the world are you two? Sorry, but I don't have a clue what you're talking about. If you finished offering flowers for the departed, please make your exit. It seems you two aren't worthy of our family's hospitality.
Leon finally ran out of patience. These were the strictest words that this gentle kid could unleash. However, Will and the girls seemed not to care at all.
I didn't come here because I wanted to. We're wasting time, so let's move onwards. Right? Try and beat this game. As the Game Master Burncastle, I invite you to join in.
I refuse.
Why?
I'm retired now. Reasoning and mysteries aren't my business anymore.
How do you intend to spend the rest of your life? Is wizard hunting Wright going to give up witch hunting?
I'll just go devil hunting instead. I already look enough like Dante. Let me just dye my hair silver. Get a nice-ass sword. There's still fox hunting and clam hunting to look forward to. I didn't come here to discuss the rest of my life with you.
So you came here to refuse?
Know that your powers of deduction are truly a sight to behold. He even talks like an Inquisitor.
Then do as you will. Go wherever you please. That is, assuming that you can leave this place.
So, what are the terms and payment? In truth, Will had resigned himself from the beginning. He knew that he was incapable of refusing an invitation from the Great Lady Burncastle.
Who killed Beatrice? That's my game. In payment, I'll forgive you for your insolence and let you leave this chapel.
I hear that boredom-hating witches just love being spoken to rudely.
It's only for hags who've tired of life after 1,000 years. I'm still plenty young, so I love thinking of horrible fates in which to trap rude men like you.
So, who's my enemy?
There is none. There's no one to stand in your way. I just want to sit back and watch you make your beautiful checkmate in this game. I've even found you an ally. That's what this Leon is for.
Really?
Can you not just throw me into shit, please?
After hearing that name spoken out of the blue, Leon frowned once more. Apparently they were moving things along without Leon's knowledge or understanding, which the latter seemed to find truly irritating.
Leon is a member of the Ushiromiya family, and you prove to be a useful ally, seeing as no one in the family knows you. I'm not sure what this is all about, but I can hardly be of assistance until I know what's going on here.
There, see? With help like this, it'll be a piece of cake.
Entertain me, and my master, wizard hunting Wright. Al may be a polite theater goer, but I might throw popcorn at you if I get bored, okay?
Isn't that my stick? Will scratched his head with a displeased look on his face. He wasn't at all interested in getting involved, but by now he realized that he couldn't disobey Burncastle's orders. Then he approached the casket and pointed at its rose-filled insides.
He asked me to solve the case of Beatrice's murder, but...
Van Dyne's 20 rules, Rule 7. It is forbidden to have a crime without a corpse. Ha! These rules are certainly trying to throw shit at Shannon, Cannon, and Beatrice, but if they're the same person, there is a corpse.
That's a devil's proof. Maybe it just isn't inside the casket. Unless you can prove that no corpse exists, this is mystery.
Rule 1, it is forbidden to have a crime without all clues presented. Then I guess they all have been presented.
Don't worry, everything is gathered here.
Though there was no change to Will's unsatisfied expression, he seemed to have understood the general pattern of this place. The simple fact that a mere Inquisitor of Heresy had been summoned by an uninhibited, fickle, cruel Great Witch of the Senate meant that he'd be treated as no more than a mere underling. All along, he had possessed no way to refuse her.
So, who killed the owner of this empty coffin? I'll answer that question. However, you'll let me do things my way. As you like.
First off, I need to make you understand the current situation.
Yes, that would be extremely helpful at the moment.
Alright, time to teach you alchemy.
And time to teach you how to be a devil hunter.
Leon's expression seemed What? What word is... Nonplussed? Is that a word? I mean, I guess so. Nonplussed, angry, and confused, all at the same time.
Over here. It'll be faster to see it for yourself. Wonderful. Please, lead the way.
Will signaled with his chin for Leon to follow him and spun around. After snorting once in an unsatisfied manner, Leon followed him, as though resigned to see Will's little show. As she watched them leave the chapel, Bernkastel sneered silently at them, a cold smile on her face.
Is the Miko of the Great Witch of Theater going, drama and spectating, feather and something au Aurora, and is the Witch of Miracles, I, Bernkastel, announce the start of this game. The tale's title is Requiem of the Golden Witch. Spin a tale fitting for Beato's funeral. Well now, let's see just how you drag out the guts.
Is this gonna play, like, hilariously different from before? She watched until the pair had left the chapel. Bernkastel's form evaporated into the empty air, just as she had arrived. All that remained was her unpleasant cackling. And where is this now? Outside, it was still raining. When Cannon saw the guest and the successor approaching the reception desk, he bowed deeply. Oh, this is still the chapel. Okay, we just have not seen, like, any rooms in this place.
Good work. You can take a break now, so would you mind leaving? It's Cannon. Yes, as you wish.
Cannon bowed deeply, then disappeared.
Don't you remember the names of all your servants? Her family has many young servants coming in and out, and are usually replaced quite frequently. Well now, what are you trying to explain to me? Who are you, and what business do you have with this family? Of course, there's no need to convince me. Feel free to head on home if you want.
There is no going home. Not for me, not for anyone.
Could you please give that a rest? Stop speaking in confusing riddles like that all the time. Even I have limits to my patience. If you don't want me to see you off, should I call Genji or Goda?
Don't freak out. Look at this.
Yes, I can see that. It's one of the memorial roses. Are you going to show me some kind of magic trick?
Will took one of the flower offerings, then showed it to Leon, as though pointing out that there were no mechanisms or tricks. Then he slowly lifted it upwards.
Watch. Yes, I'm watching. Is a dove going to fly out of it? Or is it going to be flags and fireworks? Huh?
Will threw the rose, and then it kept going. Anyone would have expected it to fly in an arc and land in some puddle. It didn't, which was why Leon had been struck dumb. The rose thrown by Will certainly had flown in an arc. It should have sped on rapidly through the air. However, as soon as it passed out from the shade of the eaves and was about to reach the rain, it stopped right in midair, as though the air surrounding it had turned into syrup. That wasn't all. Only $19.99, but that's not all. Buy one, get one free, and if you buy this, you can also get a red rose free that can also stop in midair. As it hung in midair, the rose's beautiful golden petals began to darken one after another. And it became a black husk like burnt charcoal. No recalls! And no refunds! And, even after this happened, it remained suspended there in the air.
What sort of trick is this?
Ah! Don't move. Leon moved closer to try and touch the remains of the rose, which still hung in the air. Will had roughly blocked the way with his arm. It was as though he was telling Leon that leaving this place meant certain death.
This chapel has been cut off from the fragment. We're currently locked in a concentrated loop of time. What? Do you mean by that? Explaining's a pain, so I'll just give you the short version. Basically, unless we play along with that witch's game, no one can leave this place. What? The funeral is already over. I'm sure some people will want to return to the mansion or the guest house. We can't be locked up in here. If you've got a bone to pick, that witch is the one you're looking for. Being stuck in a place like this isn't any more pleasant for me. That girl's your friend, right? Make her stop all this weirdness. She's probably sitting in a spectator's seat with a bucket of popcorn about now. She won't come if we just call her. What on earth is going on?
That short sentence described all of Leon's feelings at that moment.
However, Leon had seen the rose Will threw wither in an instant in the rainy darkness. Leon tried doing the same thing with another rose, but the effect was exactly the same. No one would want to use their own body to test this fearsome something that could make roses crumble instantly. There's only one way for us to be released from here. We have to play along with Bernkastel's game. You mean the one about who killed Beatrice? That's what she's been telling us to investigate. If you could fill me in, this will go more quickly. That fickle witch will be completely satisfied. You'll be able to get rid of the two of us, and I have a date with Diana when I get back. I guess I'm cheating on Trish now. If I keep her waiting too long, she'll start tearing up the sofa again. Never mind, that's my dog. Who killed Beatrice, you say? That's hardly something you should go barging into a funeral and asking the family about. Questioning the family is one of the basics of the mystery genre. Just give up and accept it. I do know that Beatrice is the mistress of Kinzo, the family head. You really are a strange person. How do you know so much about this family? Are you sure you have no connections with us?
Didn't it already say Rosa killed her? There we go. Game over. Get fucked, Bernkastel. On to the 8th game. Will knew this much about the Ushiromiya family, because Bernkastel had shown him all of the fragments so far. Of course, he had no sort of connection with the Ushiromiya family himself. The very plane of his existence was on a different level. I am a god. However, Beatrice died a long time ago. Wait, oh, this is probably Leon.
However, Beatrice died a long time ago. According to Genji, she passed away before the mansion was completed, but the reason for her death is unclear. To be honest, this is the first I've heard about her being killed. Tell me about it.
Oh, wait. What?
My name is Ushiromiya Lion.
Willard. Call me Will. For the first time, Will introduced himself. Their mutual introduction was finally complete, and Leon was finally able to talk with him on an even footing. However, Leon took a deep breath and looked up at the sky, wearing a vague smile.
Will?
Call me Will. I'll call you Leon.
Will. To be honest, even I don't know much about this person called Beatrice.
I see. I guess it's called a game for a reason. If only Leon could have told him everything, revealing the truth without any effort from Will. Apparently, things wouldn't be so easy after all.
Everyone who enters the Ushiromiya family knows the name and image of Beatrice.
That's because of the massive portrait hanging in the entrance hall, isn't it? That portrait was first displayed in April of 1984.
Seriously, how is it that you know so much? Well, it's about time I stopped finding that odd. I'm sure you'll just start speaking in riddles again.
Leon was the successor and lived in the head household. That made conversations with Kinzo an everyday occurrence. Because of this, Leon must have been used to chatting with people who were moody or hard to follow. With the understanding that getting stuck on the details would be nothing but a waste of time, the conversation naturally fell into a pattern as though Leon and this unknown man Will were longtime friends.
Everyone knows Beatrice, and yet no one knows her. Kinzo's the only one who's ever met her. The head seems to be particularly cranky today. I'll introduce you to him when the chance presents itself, so I ask that you develop an appropriately discreet attitude, Will.
That was quick. Thought you'd resist a bit more than that.
I'm used to speaking with the family head. I've learned to accept most unreasonable situations and just go with the flow.
Bernkastel had set up a barrier, cutting the chapel off from the rest of the world. To destroy that, they would have to find out who killed Beatrice. For Leon, who had already experienced many of Kinzo's rantings, understanding this much was more than enough. Oh. Okay then. That was abrupt. I did not expect that to end, like... It was like, oh, it looks like we're in the middle of shit. There you go. Chapter end. Well, scene. Curtain fall. Oh look, back to the exact same place. This chapter's pretty interesting so far. Well, I guess I'm gonna end this episode here. I'm actually liking this chapter considerably so far. It's a very strong start so far. I like Will, I like Leon, they're both interesting. I'm glad there's only 2 brand new characters this time. If they add a fucking third, I'm gonna go bonkers. Well, it depends on their importance. If it's just another crazy chick, then I don't know what to think of it. Oh yeah, Zepar and Furfur. One's a crazy chick, the other's a crazy guy. There we go. But either way, that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, be sure to press the like button. And if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!